Hey guys, this is Patron, and today I'm gonna tell you why you are playing smokers wrong. So, who exactly are smokers, or controllers as they are called in the game? Smokers are all of the agents whose utility is primarily based around keeping the enemy vision away, cutting off choke points and danger spots on the map. So, all of these smokers are Brimstone, Omen, Astra, and Viper. Viper though is a kind of a different case, but I'll get to that. Why are smokes so important in the game of Valorant, you might ask? Smokers are the most versatile and important agents in the whole Valorant, I'd say. Every team needs a smoker. When you look at pro matches, every team has a smoker. There's just a smoker everywhere. And maybe if you're playing in low elo, you might not see smokers so often, or in every game. But if you wanna win most of your games consistently, you are gonna need a smoker on your team. Why did I choose Bind to make this video? Bind for a smoker is a really straightforward map. On both sides of the map there are clear spots you can smoke, but the mistakes I'm seeing in even Immortal Elo, but mostly in lower Elos, are present really often on Bind specifically. Because just because of the way the map is set up. So, for example, some of the common smokes might include hookah and long smoke,
Launching smoke.
showers and short smoke,
Smoke's down.
the heaven smoke,
Launching smoke.
the CT and elbow smokes, and maybe some others, but these are the most common ones you'll see in all of the ranks of matchmaking. Now, why are these positions being smoked? Well, it's mainly because of two reasons. As a defender, you wanna always smoke choke points. What are choke points? Choke points are places which enemies come from that are the main point of contact. So, for example, this angle on long is almost always the first point of contact you get with the attackers, and hookah is almost always the first point of contact with attackers. On the other side of the map, on A, again, these two angles are the most common angles you'll get engaged in a round on Bind. Why that's important to know? As a defender, you always need to know which positions are the most dangerous in a given situation, and which choke points need to be cut off the most in any situation of the game. As an attacker smoker, you always want to cut off the most dangerous points of any given site you're entering. So for example, when you're entering B site from long, and you go in there, and there's no smoke in elbow, and you try to clear it, you're just opening yourself to all of these angles on site. There can be somebody cabbie, somebody can be green, somebody can even be in tube, and you just have to check really deep in and expose your back to all of these angles. Same goes for CT.
Right here.
And elbow as well, when you're coming from hookah. When you're trying to clear your angles, close here, inside, you can always be shot in the back,
Right
either
here.
from elbow or
Right
from
here.
CT. So what you do as a smoker is cut off these points, so your team can't get shot
Right
in the
here.
back when they're clearing the site. So, what's a good time to use your smokes? First thing, as an attacker, you should always keep some of your smokes for the final execute. Meaning that when you and your team are executing onto a site, you should always be able to smoke the most important angles. For example, when you're entering B, you should always have a smoke left for elbow.
Right here.
Because it's a really dangerous spot to just keep open and not smoke at all. Obviously, the best would be to have two of them to smoke CT as
Right
well,
here.
but elbow
Right
is
here.
a lot more important. As a defender, you should use all your smokes as a way to stall your enemies and keep them away from the site for as long as possible. make sure that you use your smokes as late as you can, so your enemies have to go through them when there's no time left for them to come on site. As you can notice, most smokers have a stalling utility other than their smokes as well, which you should mostly use earlier than your smokes, just because when you smoke a point real late into the round, you are kind of forcing your opponents to go through it into a bad engagement. On the other hand, most of the other utility are great at stopping early rushes and pushes. Also, you should always be aware of what's going on the other side of the map and what your teammates are saying, because timing on your smokes is really important and playing with your team is important as well. You mostly don't want to play solo and make plays yourself, and just want to help your teammates get into better positions, get better executes, and all around just make their life a lot easier. So for example, if I get a call that enemies are pushing A short and that my team needs a smoke,
Launching smoke.
you should smoke as fast as you can, because when you smoke too late, they're just gonna go through and your smoke is gonna be kinda useless. On the other hand, when you're smoking too early, your smokes might just disappear and they might push you anyway. And same goes for attack. When you're pushing onto a site and you smoke too early, your smokes just kinda disappear when you're either when you're taking the site or when you're planting the bomb, and your teammates can just die on site because the angles are not covered anymore. But if you smoke too late, the smokes are not gonna even be there when your teammates are pushing. So you really need a good timing on your utility to make it as effective as possible. As a smoker, you always want to make sure that your utility has the most amount of value that it can, meaning that you just don't waste your utility for nothing. So for example, if there's no pressure
Right
from
here.
long, meaning I don't see anyone in there, I don't see any abilities, I just don't have any type of info from long, I mostly don't want to smoke there, even though they can be there. It's mostly a wasted smoke. Because you always want to make sure that your smoke stops attackers for as long as possible. Same goes for the A side. When I'm defending on A, maybe I have a Sova, maybe I have a Sky, maybe I'm just jump spotting somewhere into bathrooms or on short. And I just want to make sure that first I have an info about the enemy before I use my smokes. Oh, this goes for all ranks pretty much. I see people in Immortal just wasting their utility really early and it having just no value at all. Like even when you hear somebody taking orb in A showers, you mostly don't want to smoke right when they take the orb, because a lot of people just go into showers, take the orb and go back. So you pretty much don't want to smoke before you get contact. This brings me to another type of smoke, which is called a one-way smoke.
Launching smoke.
Most of you probably know it. It's a smoke where you can see the enemy feet, because when you have a smoke like that in the air, a person that's further up or maybe down in a lower elevation can see the enemy's feet while the enemy just can't see them at all. For example, if I go here, I place the one-way smoke down,
Launching smoke.
I just can't see there pretty much. Especially when they're like back there,
Right here.
I just can't see them. Maybe if I crouch, but that just means I'm slow and I'm gonna die like already in here. One-way smokes are mostly better than normal smokes. Why? People are way more afraid to push through them. If I'm on short
Smoke's
and
down.
I get a smoke like this, I always can just flash through. If I had a flasher character like a Sky or a Phoenix, I could just flash through, go out, or even stack in the smoke, wait for it to end, and then just rush in, pop through in 5 people. what the one-way does, which a normal smoke doesn't, is a sense of danger in going near the smoke.
Launching smoke.
Because I can always just peek through here and peek all the way on short, and they just can't know. Meaning people always avoid one-way smokes way, way, way more, obviously. On lower ranks, you'll probably get like 3 kills, because most people just won't care and will just go through, which is kinda stupid, honestly, obviously. But in higher ranks, you will probably stop people way better than with a normal smoke. So this is the end of part 1. I will make a part 2 where we will delve into each smoker individually, show their weaknesses, their strengths, and just overall the way they differ between each other. So yeah, see you all later.